So if you are preparing for ServiceNow interviews, there can be a question about integrations because ServiceNow is heavily using integrations and the companies may be looking for integration specialists. So they may ask whether do you have any experience with integrations, and if you say yes, they may ask you what type of integrations you worked with. You may hear about inbound integrations, outbound integrations. They may also ask about what are the methods you used for outbound integrations or inbound integrations. They also can ask about what is the authentication method used for outbound integrations. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the authentication method, which is OAuth. If you don't know what is authentications, generally when you are logging to any of the applications, for example, you may have a Google account or a Facebook account, and you normally put your username and password to enter into your Facebook account, right? So you will put your user ID and you will put your password. This password and user ID, you will send it to the Facebook server, and Facebook server will cross check whether the password and user ID is matching. And if they say it is matching, they will let you into the application and you can access your Facebook details. And if the password or user ID is incorrect, they will tell you that no, it is incorrect, you are not authorized to access. So this is called the basic authentication. Basic authentication is what we are using in most of the cases. But in companies, basic authentication problem is, for example, if somebody know your username and password, they can easily access your account, right? This is a big security threat. So it doesn't matter who is accessing the user ID and password, who is using the user ID and password. If anybody know your user ID and password, they can access. It doesn't matter. They are not going to check your physical identity, whether you are the right person. So when it comes to enterprise, they are using a more secure option, and one of the most secure option is nowadays is OAuth. So what is OAuth? So for example, imagine that, I will give you an example. Imagine that there is a room, okay? Imagine that this room is not my study room. This room is a bank vault. It's a vault. It's a room where there is a lot of money. There is a lot of gold. There is a lot of money. There is a lot of silver, and all valuable things are in this room, okay? This room is very secured, and you can access this room with this card. So if you have access to this card, you can access this room. Before entering to now you want to enter, but you forgot this card. You forgot the card in your home, right? So now, but you want to enter into home. So what are the options? So one option is you can go to your home, you can get the card, and you can access this thing. But there is another options. Imagine you don't want to go to your home, but instead you want your friend, you have a friend near to your home, and he is coming to this place, near to this place, and you are going to tell him that go get this card for me and collect this card and give it to me. That's what you are going to say. And the guy will go to, or the girl will go to your home, and maybe you have your parents or your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is. So they will go and say that, oh, I am the friend of this guy and he asked me to collect the card. Okay, I'm his friend. So your family is first time seeing you. But how the family know that you are the real friend? Okay, so generally if you are a smart person, you will give some identification number for the family and for this person. You will say that go to my home and tell my family that this is the identification number, and they will give you something and you get me that one, right? There are a couple of ways you can protect this kind of transaction. You give your friend an identification number and you tell the same identification number to your parents or your family, and you tell them there is a person going to come and he will tell you this number, and when he give you this number, you give this card to him. Okay, this is how you are going to secure this thing, because there are a lot of cheating and there are a lot of this crime is happening these days, right? The theft. There are a lot of thieves out there. So you have to be really careful when you're dealing with this kind of important transactions. So you do like this, right? Similar like that in companies, what they are doing is, when it comes to OAuth, before I told you that basic authentication, you have a user ID and password. So whenever you want to access your Facebook, it is going to send this user ID and password to Facebook server every time. Okay, every time you want to access the Facebook, it is going to send the user ID and password, and the Facebook server is going to make this authentication. all the time this is happening. So your user ID and password is used for this authentication, right? But again, I told you that this is not secure way, so that's why companies are using a different way. So what they are using, for example, when we talk about ServiceNow, we are using service principal. What is service principal? It is another kind of user ID and password. So this service principal, you have a user ID and password in service principal as well, but the mechanism is a little bit different. And when it comes to OAuth, what they are using is this service principal user ID and password. This user ID and password is used to get a token, okay, to get an access token. So the purpose of this user ID and password, not to enter this room, not to enter to the application, but this is used to get a token. So, and this token have an expiry and all these kind of things, and whenever this token is expired, what is the method is using? They are using a refresh method to get a new token. So these are the mechanism. You can see it in this screenshot, both difference. What is the real difference between a basic authentication versus OAuth authentications? So you need to have a good picture, a good understanding about OAuth authentication. So I'm going to use this OAuth method to access a third-party application, which is Azure. You know what is Azure? You may hear about Azure, you may work with Azure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use in ServiceNow, I want to access Azure from ServiceNow. So I'm going to use here OAuth. How you can access? You have to go to application registry in ServiceNow, and you have to create a profile for accessing this Azure resource. And this is a screenshot. Here you can see some of the settings, client ID, and there are a couple of IDs, other details here. So these are the things you have when you are using OAuth authentications. When you are using a basic authentications like user ID and password, you don't have any options like this. Okay, so that's why companies are mainly using OAuth for accessing third-party applications. And in this scenario, I'm going to use OAuth to access Azure resources. So I hope you understand what is OAuth and what is the difference. So when interviewer is asking these questions, you have to, even if you didn't work with any type of integration or something, you need to explain at least as a beginner. Okay, so be ready. If you have any questions related to this OAuth authentications, feel free to post it in the comment. My name is Joby Parasamal. If you want to contact me for anything, there is an Instagram channel, Coach Joby. Search Coach Joby and you will find me, and you can DM me there. Okay, otherwise, talk to you in the next video. And in the next video, we're going to talk about outbound integrations. What is outbound integrations? Again, integrations, there are a couple of questions they can ask. One of them is authentication method. We are going to use, what is the method we are going to use to access this Azure data? I'm going to show you that in the next video.